Hello, my brothers and sisters in time. My name is George Alexander. I am the co-founder, the CEO, the chief watch designer, and chief perfumer of Maison also known as the Black Horologist. Welcome back to the channel. I'm excited today. I'm really excited today. And it's because I get to once again profile another one of my favorite brands. So if you're just tuning in with us, I've spent the month of March profiling 5 brands, well, 4, this will be the 5th, that really inspired me as a watch designer, as a watch brand owner. We started with Omega, we did Piaget, we did Cartier, and we did Jacob and Company, which brings us to the 5th and final in this series before, we get on with our regularly scheduled programming. Today's episode and the brand that I'm covering today is one that's very dear to my heart. They've been around forever. They've been around since 1822, and if you are a watch fan, if you know, you know. There's luxury, there's super luxury, and then there's them. They have a collaboration with Rolls-Royce on their boat tail. It comes with one of their watches in like the dashboard that you can take out of the car and wear on your wrist. They are just that brand. They're the brand that a lot of brands really aspire to be. Super luxurious. They are perennial winners at GPHG. They've won La Gaille d'Or, they've won Mechanical Exception, they've won Ladies, they've won, the list goes on and on of awards that they've won. I could honestly dedicate an entire episode to their accolades. I'm speaking, of course, of Bovet, or Bovet 1822, or Bovet Fleurier Essai. Bovet was founded in 1822, as the name would suggest, by Edouard Bovet. They're super high-end watches, starting in the tens of thousands, and they can, definitely surpass that $1 million mark. And they're worth every penny. My goodness, the watches that they come up with and come out with, even like these sort of like everyday wear ones, are some of the most beautiful watches that you'll ever see. So I have a lot of love for them. I first really stumbled upon Bovet around the time that I learned about the existence of GPHG, which was like 2018. It was right after GPHG 2018, so Bovet actually won La Gaille d'Or with one of the watches that I will be profiling later in this episode. And I was just smitten immediately, and it actually inspired one of my earliest designs, which I call Perihelion, which one day we will be making and introducing into the world. So I owe Bovet a great debt of gratitude for the inspiration and just the standard of excellence that they hold themselves to. And I've mentioned them before. I mean, their headquarters is in a freaking castle, right? Which is they're just so cool. So again, founded by Edouard Bovet in London in 1822. He was Swiss. And their original watches were among the first to skeletonize and decorate movements, so they definitely have a very special place in history. The current owner of the brand is Mr. Pascal Raffi, who I think is an absolute visionary. The way that he bought stuff up and got the manufacturing side sorted out and all of that, saving the brand and restoring it to the glory that it deserves. He definitely deserves a round of applause for that. So, Mr. Raffi, if you do end up watching this ever, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. So, looking at their history, Edouard Bovet, he was the son of a watchmaker from Fleurier, Switzerland, which is in the canton of Neuchâtel, which is where the Bovet Castle sits. They originally made watches exclusively for the Chinese market. And their early competition included brands like Vacheron Constantin, among others in the Chinese market. They sold so many watches in China that their name in I want to say Mandarin, Bovet translated to Bovet, and it kind of became sort of the colloquial term for watches, in the same way that Kleenex has become the term for like tissue paper, or you know what I mean, like, or jacuzzi for hot tub. You know, like those are brand names. You know, which is really cool. Now the Chinese watch market ended up crashing around 1855. And then from there, the Bovet name and trademark bounced around between ownerships. It was acquired by Albert and Jean Bovet, who sold it to Favre Lube. It was eventually acquired by Parmigiani Fleurier, another well-known watch brand, and then by Mr. Raffi in 2001, who since then has put a lot of money and investment into manufacturing facilities and creating what the brand is today. They're not a huge company, about 150 employees. They produce about roughly 800 watches per year, so not a lot. Not high volume, but the quality and the care that they put into these is second to none. They don't do public like watch fairs. You're not going to see them unveiling stuff at Watches and Wonders. You're not going to see them tabling or, you know, having a booth at, you know, whatever watch expo. You're not going to see that from Bovet. They spend very little on advertising. They prefer their private salons. It's very much an if you know, you know, when it comes to this brand. A third of their pieces are one of a kind and made to order, which I think is really cool, because again, it allows them to really focus their energy on making their watches just the best that they can be. They place a high emphasis on artistic detail, as well as groundbreaking complications. So their watches are really, their timepieces are really like the perfect marriage between form and function. So their collections are broken down into three categories. You got Fleurier, Dimier, and Bovet by Pininfarina. I believe Fleurier and Dimier are their two manufacturing plants. They're two big ones. So when you look at them, you'll see some that are called virtuosos. Those are from Fleurier. And Fleurier obviously being the town in which Edouard Bovet grew up. And then Dimier, which is, I believe, another town in Switzerland. All the ones that are called Recital, they are from Dimier. They're probably my biggest inspiration in watches, to be perfectly honest. And I probably said this about every other brand. Obviously, Cartier, you know, I love their brand. I love how all-encompassing their brand is. I love the shapes that they've introduced, including the tank, as you see with the Pistrus collection. Go pre-order those. I've loved Omega. That's really the brand that got me into watches. So that's a huge influence. I've loved everything that Jacob and Company has put out, and how they kind of push the envelope of what watches can be aesthetically. I love Piaget, their use of stone dials. But I mean, when you come to influencing like an actual design, influencing the way that I think about watches and the way I think about time. I mean, you talk about a brand that, like, if they're nominated for a category at GPHG, I'm picking them to win. I can't go against them. One, because I'm smart. And two, just because I know that the watch that they've put out that has been nominated is second to none in terms of quality, in terms of complications, in terms of just being super groundbreaking. So I thoroughly love Bovet. I will always big up them, even though they don't need me to. When I speak to people who don't know watches, which is often, when I speak to people who don't know watches, and they tell me about the brands that they like, and I tell them, hey, there's a whole world of watches out here that you can explore, and they ask me, okay, what brand should I look at? And the first one out of my mouth is always Bovet. So I have a lot of love for them. To the friends at Bovet, if you are watching, again, thank you for the inspiration. I usually use this time to, make a shameless plug or say, hey, hook me up with a watch. And if you felt so inclined, yeah. please. But I just truly feel that Bovet needs to get their flowers. I know that they prefer to be sort of, if you know, you know. More people should know, to be honest. They are an aspirational good, so I love them. Now we get into my favorites from Bovet. And I've got a few. Obviously, the Recital 22 Grand Recital, GPHG La Gaille d'Or winner 2018, the one that inspired my design perihelion. Hand painted earth, perpetual calendar, accurate until like 2400 AD. It's got an orrery, like it is, and I mean you've seen it on screen. Like it's just so cool looking. It's got sort of a sloped look, so it's a lot more readable as well. So I really love this watch, and it's honestly the one that got me into like haute horology in the first place. The Recital 28 Prowess 1. Now, you have heard me reference this one before if you've been on the channel. It won at GPHG this past year in the mechanical exceptions category. It solved the issue of daylight savings time, which is absurd. Okay, it's absurd. From there, you get the Miss Audrey. It's named after Mr. Rafi's eldest child. I'm a sucker for stuff like that. You know, I'd love to, have a collection out named after each of my kids. It won the ladies timepiece category at GPHG in 2020. You got the 1930. There is a variation of it, I believe is Bovet's first fully skeletonized watch. Again, you see it on screen. It is absolutely gorgeous. The Monsieur Bovet, there you see, another example of that Amadeo convertible system. It can go on the wrist. It can go as like a pocket watch, which is how they got their start, or it can go like on a desk. It can like kind of prop itself up, which I think is just absolutely incredible. And basically, you're kind of getting 3 watches in one, which is, I mean, you can't get much better than that. So those are and then there's the Ottanta Sei, which is one of the Bovet by Pininfarina watches. 3D multiple meshing teeth. That's one of the innovations and patents that Bovet created to create this watch. It allows it to reduce clutter, and it optimizes the watch's operation. And it has a double-sided flying tourbillon, which won't mean a whole lot to lay people, but again, if you know, you know, and it's just such a really cool looking watch. I'm not going to belabor the point too much tonight. Please make sure that you subscribe, that you like, that you comment, that you share. Please, y'all, I'm begging y'all, go pre-order the Pistrus collection. We got 5 incredible watches there. You can order 1, 2, 3, 4, or get all 5 in the complete collection at an even more discounted price than already discounted. Please pre-order these so that we can then move on to our next collection, which is which is already designed. We're ready to go with it. We want to make sure that we can just keep this train rolling. I do want to acknowledge the brands that we've covered over the last 5 weeks. I want to acknowledge Omega and Piaget and Cartier and Jacob and Company and Bovet. Each one of you has inspired me to an incredible degree. And I really thank you for all that you do for horology, all that you do for this industry, all that you do for, watchmakers and watch fans. From utilizing, say, JLC movements in your earlier pieces, to patenting various movements and various pieces and various components, to really industrializing and standardizing the coaxial movement like Omega did. Just all of that is so cool, and I'm very excited to see what else you all put out. And for everybody watching, sound off of the 5 that I've covered. Which has been your favorite? What are your favorite watch brands? And for those of you who have taken a look at the Pictures collection, can you see the inspiration within those watches, and which one are you buying? Again, find your favorite watch, wear it in good health. I love you all. We'll have a very special guest on our next episode, so stay tuned for that. I'm not going to give any hints there. But again, I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Look forward to the next episode, the next time we get to be together. My name, once again, is George Alexander. I am the co-founder, the CEO, the chief watch designer, and chief perfumer of Maison, also known as the Black Horologist, signing off. Take care.